We got the host of Tea Time with Tommy joining us here for this one. Back again on Pro Wrestling Enforcer Podcast, and you guys come all the way from Toronto, Canada. You're live from Toronto. So pretty cool that we're international theme here for Pro Wrestling Enforcer. We're keeping it. And of course, we got WWE Fastlane this weekend, but I also wanted to talk to you guys about a promotion that's coming up in Chicago called Warrior Wrestling. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that. And let's go right into the Warrior Wrestling. Okay, I don't know if you guys are too familiar with Warrior. I've mentioned it on our podcast before. Big Show Tommy, I linked him to the Instagram. I think hopefully he linked you as well. And they have their talent announcements. And just looking at that, what do you guys think? Like, isn't this a show that you would want to watch?
I mean, wow. Like, first off, thank you for having us on, Sean,
Yes.
on the Pro Wrestling Enforcer Podcast. Really appreciate it. Thank you. And secondly, Warrior Wrestling. Yeah, I checked it out. Wow. It must be really nice for you guys in Chicago to have this every year. Like, I mean, which Toronto could have this, right? Norbz every year. But yeah, it looks amazing. So it's Kylie Rae and Thunder Rosa. That's the card that's signed, right? I know Kylie Rae.
That match is announced, but we also have other talent
Thunder Rosa,
too.
I believe.
Yes, that's going to be great. It's for the Warrior Wrestling Women's title. Kylie Rae, if you don't know, I think if our fans don't know, people watching, Kylie Rae had announced her retirement. I think it happened like last November.
Yeah.
And she just said, I'm not going to wrestle.
I just want to add before I let Norbz go. Like, I mean, I saw the clips you sent us. I researched it. Yeah, before I hand it off to Norbz, I just want to say, wow, Warrior Wrestling's amazing. It's a blend of well-known wrestlers like Brian Cage, Kylie Rae, Rhino, with a blend of up-and-comers from indie wrestling, and just to do it in like a high school football is just wow. I love how they added that into there, and then you have people sitting on lawn chairs just enjoying the wrestling match, having their brewskis there. I mean, wow. I mean, it would be, hopefully Norbz and I and Brit can cover it someday. It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah, it's in a high school football field, the Marian Catholic High School, I understand.
Yeah.
And it's a very very popular high school, actually. It's a unique setting. It kind of reminds me of Reality of Wrestling doing some of their shows outside the parking lot, in the drive-through environment, the drive-in environment rather. I mean, Warrior Wrestling is the way to go right now for the independent scene. One of the most popular and very unique environment. They even have matches where they can use the field goal the field goal position where they fly off the damn thing. It's incredible. They use the entire football field, very much like the Stadium Stampede that we saw at AEW at the AEW event not too long ago. It's a very unique setting. I think I understand Trey Miguel is one of their champions.
Yeah, he's the Warrior champion.
Yeah, he's the Warrior champion right now. He's also competing in Impact Wrestling. Highly talented. He's got a lot of future ahead of him. And one of the most high risk impact, no pun intended, competitors out there. Very, very technically sound as well. So I'm very, very excited about this promotion and the unique environment to where it is right now.
For sure.
I don't know why AEW didn't pick up Beast Man.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Sean, go ahead.
3 events. So in the summer, they're doing one in June, July, and August. And what was really cool about Warrior Wrestling is transitioning to the football field, because they used to be in the gymnasium. And though you can't really recapture that environment in the football field, they've done what they could to make it safe during the pandemic, and they've done it well. In fact, Tony Khan from AEW looked at his event, and one of the deciding factors of Warrior Wrestling. Looked at Warrior Wrestling. That was one of his deciding factors to bring fans back to the Daily Plaza, to make it socially distanced and safe. So that's huge as well. And you look at the talent that's lined up. I mean, you got Trey Miguel, as we mentioned. You've got another tough guy, another guy who we've just seen recently in independent scene, Well, I've seen him, but he's been around for a few years. Lee Moriarty, this guy, he's also the IWTV champion, a title that Warhorse had. You've got Warhorse who's going to be on the card. Thunder Rosa, Brian Cage, Aramis, who is a Mexican luchador, really, really good. I recommend watching his matches. Brian Pillman Jr. was like the former Warrior Wrestling champion, and he finally dethroned Brian. Brian Cage had to give up the belt due to injury, so he became only the second ever. Sam Adonis, who is a Mexican talent, he really traveled around in Mexico and made a name for himself. Beastman. And then you've got guys who have made appearance in AEW Dark, like Robert Anthony, along with Frank the Clown, and it's just a great talent. You know what I mean? I just when I see how much talent they're bringing in, and I just get excited when I see the lineup. So Congo Kong's going to be there. There's a new guy. I'm not sure. I'm not really familiar with him. He's another luchador. You got Jake something from Impact Wrestling and Warhorse, and I think there'll be more to come. And just the fact that Kylie Rae is going to make her return bout. We haven't seen Kylie Rae wrestle. I think one of her last matches was on Impact. She wrestled at the Collective, which was in Indianapolis, in a couple of matches as well. She was scheduled. I don't know if she made those matches, but I know she was at the Collective. And then, we haven't really seen Kylie since. So this was huge because I thought Kylie was done from pro wrestling. So that main event with her and Thunder Rosa is going to be historic for so many reasons. Thunder Rosa was a former NWA Women's Champion. I'm excited for this one. Like, I don't remember when Kylie Rae and Thunder Rosa last squared off. Now, it may have happened because I know Thunder Rosa was doing the freelance shows in Chicago. So I'll have to go back and look at that and see if they actually wrestled before. But still, it's a crazy match. I'm so excited for it. It's probably going to be the main event.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I would love to get Norbz and Brit to go cover it. The Rascals, I saw one of their matches, top 50, amazing match, and then I believe it was guy named Traymar. There's a lot of high flyers in Warrior Wrestling that are up and coming. Beastman was impressive. I don't know why AW or WWE have not picked him up yet, but and then you get Brian Cage, of course, and just I love that clown, that clown,
Frank the Clown
individual. He's got great. He could be. See, these are a lot of talent that I truly believe WWE AEW is looking into. He had that little run-in with Mick Foley, Frank the Clown as well, and then you got the Ego. He's reminds me of William Regal there. But there's just so much talent that Warrior Wrestling has. Like, I was just really interested just going through and looking at all the characters. And it's just oh man, it's just amazing. I could come to Toronto, but that's never gonna happen. But you never know. But I mean, it's just wow. This is something. Yeah,
you can get it on pay-per-view. They have it on Fight TV, I believe, or High Spots Network. I think it's High Spots. So they'll have it on there. And this promotion's Bossman gained national attention, which is crazy because of fact that they still have AEW wrestlers coming out for their events. They've had Lance Archer there when he was in AEW. They've had Joey Janela there when he was in AEW. They're going to have Brian Cage there. Brian Cage has been a staple of Warrior Wrestling. And the fact that Kylie Rae is choosing this event to make her in-ring return, that's nationwide news as well, because of, people had no clue what happened when she left, Impact Wrestling. This kind of out of the blue. She was supposed to be bound for glory and just didn't get in the ring. I didn't make it to the ring for the match, and I heard she was there. So I assumed she was done with wrestling. I assumed we wouldn't hear from her for a long time, and she is finally back. And I think, if you guys seen a Kylie Rae match, you're in store for one hell of a time.
Yeah, I do wish her well.
Yes.
Yeah, I do wish her well. And she's been out of wrestling for quite some time, and I mean, it's unfortunate that like she wasn't able to participate at Bound for Glory.
Hmm.
She would have been women's champion. I think
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, she was booked to be their women's champion, their knockouts champion rather at Bound for Glory. But yeah, she just was unwell, in my view, and we wish her well.
Yeah.
Let's hope that this return will mean something for her.
For sure. And if you guys went
Yeah,
back
for
and
sure.
saw the Warrior Wrestling women's title match back, I think it was at the Stadium Series night one, she was in the main event and she took on Tessa Blanchard. And that was a crazy match because they wrestled on the field in front of people, like really close to all of us that were on the field. Like it was crazy. They were just feet away from us, and they were the match between them spilled out backstage. And it shows you what the Warrior Women's title has been main event now twice now. So it's going to be a main event third time, and it just shows you the prestigiousness of it. And the international talent that's come through Warrior is crazy. I mean, Minoru Suzuki. Where else could you meet Minoru Suzuki, man? Unless you have a New Japan, if you have a ticket to New Japan Wrestling, like, he was there. We got to meet the Strong Hearts, from New Japan, from MLW. We got to meet the Chaos, Will Ospreay. I mean, come on, these guys are not easy to meet. And I do like to meet the wrestlers. So they always have a convention, which is called the VIP meet and greet that happens before. Sometimes you can get them to do an interview or a shout out, and it's a lot of fun, that happens right before the event. So the combination of the VIP meet and greet and the event, huge value for anyone that's looking. Go to warriorwrestling.net. They have a pass for all three events as well. And you get a face mask, you get the VIP meet and greet for all 3 nights. And it's not that bad. I mean, it's a few $100s, but in the long run, it'll save you. Because, if you go to those wrestling conventions, to meet the wrestlers usually costs like $40 each, So this one, you get to meet them, and then it's just a fun time. It's a fun experience. You get to sit back, you get your cooler full of drinks or food, and you get to watch a show like it's outdoors. It's fun. That's not the same environment as indoors, because indoors Warrior Wrestling, you can't copy that. People are stomping on the floor. They're making more noise. The wrestlers can hear them. One of the things that Travis Tyne said in our interview is that with Warrior Wrestling, it's hard to gauge the crowd because it's open air, and he couldn't hear the crowd as well as he would imagine he would
Wow,
to.
that's quite interesting.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
yeah.
just I just wish we had this in Toronto. I'm sorry to keep bringing that up, guys, but I wish, because I meant 3 dates you guys get, Sean, in Chicago.
Yes.
So I'm jealous, Sean. I'm jealous of you
Are you
guys in Chicago.
are you
It's
guys
interesting
not?
that like he can't of course, like in an outdoor environment, like I mean WrestleMania is always mostly outdoors. When they hosted it in California or in Texas, I mean they were all outdoors. And it's interesting that the guy the fans are like normally engaged, and they're pretty loud, in those large crowds, large
Yeah.
attendances. I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like a stadium. That's the thing. It's like it's kind of everybody's on the field, kind of, distance from another. It's you can't replicate like the indoor arena. It does get loud though, but it's just hard to you know replicate that. So hopefully they'll do that again. Or do you guys have wrestling events going on in Canada now, or?
No, that's why, like, I'm so glad you mentioned about Warrior Wrestling, because I was just watching what you said, and no, we don't. This is something that Chicago, all of you guys can enjoy. It's 3 dates in the summertime for you guys. So,
Yeah.
and just that outside, what I love about is the outside atmosphere, guys, that Warrior Wrestling has in that high school field. People can set up lawn chairs. There's so much space. I mean, it's brilliant. Whoever is the owner of Warrior Wrestling to do that, or the promoter, it's a brilliant strategy to have. I wish Toronto did it, we don't have. I don't think we have any wrestling is going to believe. Like you know more than me about
Not as
this.
much. I mean, like people can't travel, right?
Yeah,
Like
I
the
mean, like,
border is still basically closed, and we can't even have a summer event in BMO Field because
could you
TFC is
imagine that? No, sorry to cut you off, Norbz. Could you imagine that BMO Field? I don't know, Sean. It's where I know if you know what
Okay.
BMO Field, it's where the Toronto FC, our soccer team, plays. And could you imagine like a Warrior Wrestling at BMO Field? Like
Mhm.
that would sell so much and
Yeah,
revenue.
I think
Ah,
the owners of BMO Field and Toronto FC will be terrified if they ruin the grass. Because whatever hardcore match or whatever insane false count anywhere match that they may have in that stadium, I think it's not gonna do them any good. But
listen,
TFC wants their soccer grass to be fresh all the time.
listen, Sean. Like after the show, if you can give us the email to get the media guy, we'd love to cover it. Like we will try to get to Chicago someday to
All right.
cover that because
No
I mean
problem. I
it would
got
be
you,
an
man.
experience of a lifetime for any, not just media personality, but fans across the world. Like,
Well, here's the deal.
thank you. We got you too. Whatever you
Yeah,
need from
okay,
us,
for
but
sure, man.
but it would be an experience of a lifetime. Fans,
Yeah.
media.
AEW, they brought All Out to Chicago again. And when AEW came for All In, or no, before they were AEW, they did All In here, and then they did All Out. That weekend, that Sunday, Warrior Wrestling would hold an event. And many of the wrestlers featured at AEW were going to be at this event. And what's crazy is that, fans should have realized this because, AEW is so limited when it comes to tickets availability. And if these fans knew that, hey, I could see Pentagon and Phoenix right after they had their ladder match, the day after at Warrior Wrestling, I could see Lance Archer, who's going to be at Warrior Wrestling in the future, or who's going to be at AEW in the future. I could see Brian Cage, who's going to use Impact, but he's going to be in AEW in the future. You know what I mean? It's just like, that'd be crazy, if they, just to imagine that. So, that's what they had. They had Mick Foley there. They had so many different stars, Alex Zane, who I really am a big fan of as well. And it was just like all encompassing. Like if you can't make it to
It's
AEW,
amazing. I mean,
this is the next best thing. If you can't get that ticket, that's rare to get for AEW pay-per-view. And that's the thing is I encourage you guys to come out for AEW and hope for All Out. And then hopefully, I would love it if it would be this year, but if it's not this year, when everything's open again, come for AEW and stay for Warrior Wrestling.
I mean, hey, if I can deliver on the media passes, I'm sure Norbz will drive us. He'll drive that far. If I can deliver
Sure.
AEW and Warrior Wrestling media passes, I'm sure
we'll split the drive, Tom.
we'll split the drive, and I'm sure Norbz and Brit will be all in on that. AEW and Warrior Wrestling, Norbz will not say no to that. I'll tell you that much.
Awesome.
Well,
I'll let you know. Hopefully next
Chicago,
year.
My understanding. So
Pit stop.
yeah,
Pit stops,
let's
Norbz.
do
You can
it.
make
Let's
pit
do it.
stops.
Yeah, hopefully next year. I think they're
It's
settled
happening,
in.
and we'll get to see you, Sean, and
Yes.
I'll buy the beers. All right,
Awesome.
I got the first round.
Yeah, Dan. I mean, I think that's a great weekend. I mean, if you also look at that weekend that we've had in Chicago, another promotion, AAW, they hold shows on Thursday and Friday, the Jim Lineman Memorial Tournament. And then I think it was Game Changer Wrestling held a show that Friday too. That was even later. And so that's just non-stop wrestling right there. I couldn't go to all those events. I went to the AAW on Thursday, and it was crazy. You know who walked right past me? MJF.
MJF.
He walked right past me.
That guy never breaks character. He lives his character every
Yeah,
single
he'll just
day.
flip us the bird and keep on walking.
Even when he's off camera, like I'm pretty sure that he's a classic heel wherever he goes. He probably goes to a restaurant and demands everything in the menu.
Yeah, we get views though, guys. If we a video of him flipping us off, I think views.
But yeah,
he doesn't change character.
He wrestled Colt Cabana that night, but he walked by me, and guess what he said? He said, "Excuse me," which is surprising, right? But
hey,
I think it was because
at least he didn't flip you the bird.
No. One of the employees I was talking to one of the employees who does the ticketing, and so I guess out of politeness to him as well, he said, "Excuse me," because but I was kind of in the way, so maybe he's like, "Oh well, he
You
knows."
should have said, "Excuse you."
Man, I'd like to meet MJF in person. Like,
Yeah,
he
Do
would
you
be a
really want
classic
to,
heel.
Norb? You know
you
what's
know what
gonna
he
happen.
did? He
Yeah,
flicked
he's
But
off.
just
it's
gonna
great
tell
though.
me
I
off.
love how he's in character though.
Yeah,
He
always. Never
he
breaks
flicked
character.
off a kid when he took a picture of him.
I heard about that. I
Yep.
think you told me
Yeah,
that, or Norbs told me that, Sean.
That
Yeah,
was
unbelievable.
in an autograph signing, right?
yeah.
In
It
a
was at
convention somewhere.
C2E2.
Yeah,
C2E2. He
Maybe
just
the kid was too hostile. Maybe, who knows?
probably. Yeah.
no.
There's
The
so
kid
much a
was like
wrestler can take,
stunned. His
right?
kid's face was
Mhm.
priceless
You gotta
too.
hear two sides of the story, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean it's a fun weekend, guys. If you can make it out, it's like the next
If us
best
three
wrestling.
can like actually,
Guys, this is the next best wrestling weekend next to like WWE, next to WrestleMania. It's
oh,
like it's in Chicago. It's got AEW pay-per-view is the headliner. Then you got all these other shows that are on each night, and it's fun. And Warrior Wrestling to cap it off. It's going to be an amazing time. So, and then let's
That's
transition,
crazy.
guys,
What a
and talk
lineup.
about
I envy you. I
Yeah.
envy you.
yeah. Let's talk about AEW, and let's just do a couple takeaways from Revolution. First of all, I love Hikaru Shida's match with Ryo Mizunami. That was a highlight of the pay-per-view. If I had to pick another highlight of the pay-per-view, it was the Tag Team Battle Royal. The Casino Tag Team Battle Royal was great as well. That was a fun match all throughout. Those are like my top two matches per se. The Sting, Darby Allin, and versus Team Taz. It was a unique match. It was kind of gritty, kind of raw. It kind of felt like the match between EC3 and Moose that they had at Bound for Glory, with the ring kind of set up in the middle of nowhere, like a warehouse setting. So I thought that was a fun match as well. So I guess those are my top three memorable matches. I'm just talking about, just talk in the top of your head. What was your biggest takeaways from the pay-per-view? I mean, of course, the barbed wire match was great until the very end, but I count the very end, and that was disappointing. So off the top of your head, what do you remember the most of the pay-per-view?
Well, what really comes to mind to me is the Sting and Darby Allin tag team match against Team Taz. In the middle of nowhere, in a warehouse setting. What was probably like one of my favorite cinematic matches, because the
Yeah,
effects, the the atmosphere, and the brutalness of that match was just unbelievable. I mean, Darby Allin at one point he had a whatever a glass frame fall on him, and it killed his neck, and I thought he was done, but that kid gets up every time. He is
yeah,
impervious to anything humanly painful. And Sting, his first match in more than 20 years, unbelievable. He really pulled through that match, for especially for his age. Must have been like a really difficult for him to transition back into being a wrestler at that point in time, especially wrestling in that kind of match, in that kind of
yeah,
setting. But kudos to Sting. Like, he's an icon. They don't call him the icon for nothing. And Team Taz, a bunch of they are the wolf pack of AEW right now. It reminded me of the wolf pack back in the day in WCW. They are a band, and they're going to continue on doing great things. Create chaos, create havoc for months and months to come. And Taz is the anchor to that group, and he's always the one that epitomizes uh, you know uh, match engagement and character
yeah,
identification. It's a really great match in my view. The women's title match was one of my favorites. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a Japan versus Japan women's title match ever. This is probably my first time, and
Okay.
yeah, and the barbed wire match was absolutely brutal. With the exception of the ending, uh, but it was a good pay per view altogether. Even though that there was the the horrible ending afterwards, but it was another great event. I think.
Well, I'm gonna say right now, I think you both missed the boat with the biggest one. I actually posted this video on our Tea Time with Twitter account, Sean. It was Kristen Cage being announced as a new
Right.
AEW wrestler. That was like huge news. I think it's just my opinion, and it like I posted that in like 5 minutes. It got 900 views.
Yeah.
That when I posted a video about Christian Cage being signed by AEW.
Nice.
But you guys are right. You guys didn't miss the boat. You guys are right on.
Right.
The other matches, real quickly, was the barbed wire, of course. Man, that had to be up there as well. Just the brutality of it all and the barbed wire exploding. I don't know how those two survived, Moxley and Omega. That was wow. Like I wouldn't have survived that. And then you have basically that street fight, Darby Allin, Sting versus Team Taz. Just like Norbz said, the glass being broken, Allen's back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like
Yeah.
first of all, that was real. That like, you can't fake that part, and just guys throwing each other into trash cans and hitting each other with like 2x4s and baseball bats. I mean that, and the way they did it was very done by AW and WWE right now. Is those type of matches where you have cinematography outside the ring in the stadium where they're going at
Yeah.
it. So definitely those two matches, the barbed wire explosion match, the street fight, and yep, of course, always the lovely, beautiful Hikaru Shida's matches are always
Yeah.
classic. So
Definitely.
against can't even pronounce her name, whoever she fought. Yeah.
Real.
It was a classic match, and hopefully
Yeah.
I think Jade Cargill should face Hikaru Shida next pay-per-view.
We'll
I
see.
think it's time to give Jade Cargill some shine.
Yeah, she'll
We'll
take it
see.
to NBA on TNT and rub it on everyone's faces
Yeah.
because Shaq is there.
Shaq's the man, guys. Come
He's
on.
gonna bask in her glory whoever wins the women's championship. That's for sure.
And then talk
I
about
think
the
she will. I
women's.
think AEW is pushing Jade to become the female superstar of AEW.
Definitely.
She's
I mean,
got it all, guys. The looks, the athleticism, the physique. Like, I mean, which woman wrestler comes in that once in a while, once in a generation, the wrestler like that comes along, right? So
yeah, people are already comparing her to Charlotte. They say she's like the Charlotte of AEW, and I think
she's
she's
better than
surprised a lot of
Charlotte.
people. I think she surprised a lot of people that didn't know what to expect from her, and she's gonna climb those rankings. But what do you think of Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker? You guys watch that match? How crazy was that? That's crazy.
Yeah, that was
happened.
wow. Was that like a street fight there, Sean or
Yeah,
Norbs?
it was a lights out
non-sanctioned
match.
lights out
Yeah,
match.
They just brutalize each other. That's all I
yeah,
oh my god, you got to give it to both Brit and Thunder Rosa. My goodness, those two
yeah.
just gave us a showcase that night, a match for
I
the
think
ages.
so.
So you got to hand it to both of them. They're both bloodied up after it, and that's not fake blood, guys. So I mean, they're both bloodied up after the match. I mean, you got to get two female elite athletes.
Yeah, Britt Baker,
Yeah,
she's been
totally.
busted open before. Yeah,
Yeah, just another reason why AEW is really promoting their women's division
mm-hmm.
to Dynamite. I mean, there's Hikaru Shida as the women's champion, but the women can also be hardcore as well. And Thunder Rosa and Dr. Britt Baker really showed that last week on Dynamite. Absolutely brutal match. It did. Yeah, I mean, WWE can't match that at all. I
No,
mean, like they don't like
they
to
wouldn't
they don't
try.
like to have the women bleed,
No,
just like that. But yeah, they Dr. Brett Baker and Thunder Rosa really showed
yeah,
they can be hardcore as well, rather than just being on one-on-one matches or tag team matches. Plain and simple, they can really play hard
mm-hmm.
and be brutal at the same time, for sure.
And then this is where I think I differ from you, Tommy. Is I actually see Britt Baker being the next champion for AEW Women's Champion. I think she's been there long
That's a
enough.
fair point too.
Yeah, And I think Jade's time will come, but I think Brit is next. I think this match has propelled Brit to make her more of a credible threat to Hikaru Shida. And now the difference is she's got Reba in her corner, and she also has maybe Maki Ito. What do you guys think of Maki Ito? Recent alliance she's had with Brit Baker, but she's crazy, right? I mean, the woman sings, her way to the ring. She kicks hard. I mean, she's a threat too,
Hey, no, that's a fair point, Sean. I mean, Britt Baker, I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it. She definitely deserves it. Like, I wouldn't blame if it's either Britt Baker or Jade Cargill. I'm just saying you got to go with the train that's helping run in the female division. I think Jade Cargill has to get a shot. You don't want to make her wait too long, right? A
Right.
talent like that, I believe. And she's got Shaq in her corner. I mean, it's a gold mine for Tony Khan. I wouldn't know why they would take too long to give Jade Cargill that fight against Karushida or Thunder Rosa for now. You can't wait.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it now, we're almost 9 months into Hikaru Shida's title reign, right? I believe,
Almost a
right?
year,
9
yeah.
or 10 months.
Wow.